Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. Today I am going to be reading into the energy of the Twin Flame Collective. In this Twin Flame reading today, I am going to be using intuition as well as energy oracle cards to bring forth whatever messages we may need to hear collectively or even individually as twin flames. As many of you know, I do try to channel as many hyper-specific messages as possible in these readings. But because of this, I also do need to disclaim here that not every message I deliver will likely be meant for you specifically. So at the end of the day, always use your own intuition as your guide, as your true soul compass in these readings, and of course, always in life, right? Because it's that intuition that truly guides us, that leads us along our own individual path. And really through these readings and through every video on my channel, my number one goal is simply to reawaken you to the truth of how powerful and wonderful, worthy and loved you truly are at your core. And also in connection to that, to reconnect you with that power, with that inner knowing, with that intuition. So if I do resonate with you, please do subscribe to this channel, join our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. So with all of that being said, I am going to go ahead and shuffle the first deck I'll be using, which is the Energy Oracle Cards deck. As I shuffle these cards, please do set your own intentions if you feel guided. By the way, I'm kind of laughing because as I was shuffling, I just saw the number 222 come up on my recording screen, which obviously, as we know, is a very powerful twin flame number. I do feel, by the way, that many of you have been seeing certain repeating numbers lately. I read a comment yesterday from one of you beautiful souls who said you had been seeing a lot of the number 9. And this is really interesting to me because personally, I've been seeing a lot of 9s lately, as well as the number 911, which may kind of, because of the way we, especially in America, use the numbers 911, it's, the emergency line number and all of that. This number for some of you may kind of bring to the surface these feelings of danger or threat, but in truth, this number is just meant to call your attention to something important going around you or happening near you when you see it, at the moment you see that number. So if you have been seeing the number 911, this is kind of a pre-message for someone that I feel needs to hear this. This could just be a sign that you are being shown something in that moment that you're supposed to pay attention to. It's kind of a number trying to get your attention or draw your attention to something. So that's just for someone I feel may need that message right now. So I've drawn one card here. These cards have a kind of electric feeling about them today. I tend to get energy from the collective, even just kind of as I shuffle. And sometimes it tells me a little bit about what's going on in your energy. So I'm kind of laughing again because there is this random card stuck in my Energy Oracle Cards deck that's actually from a different deck. So that card actually wanted to come out. So I'm going to actually leave that out instead of putting it away. And we'll see what that is in a minute. So like I was saying earlier before I started talking about repeating numbers, if you would like to set your own powerful intention for this reading, I would really encourage you to do so because energy has no time limitations. When you set an energetic intention futuristically in the future as you are reading or listening to this reading rather, it actually impacts the energy of me here doing this reading in the present moment. So thank you to all of those who do set intentions for these readings. I really do feel that your intentions help me to bring forth clearer, more specific messages. Okay, so I've pulled 4 cards so far. By the way, guys, throughout this reading and through all of my readings, I will be recommending specific subliminal meditations. So these are just energy sound therapy tools designed to shift, harmonize, or change the energy of your situation in a certain way based upon the reading. So all of the subliminals I recommend come from my website, Sound and Soulful. As you can see on the screen, on this website, I have created subliminals for all areas of life. And subliminals are truly so incredibly powerful because they contain unconscious affirmations, meaning your conscious mind won't actually be able to hear or understand the affirmations because they are embedded within other meditation sounds and binaural beat frequencies. But this is actually what makes subliminals so powerful, because they are able to bypass that conscious filter of the mind and make deeper, more lasting impressions on the subconscious, which actually controls 95% of everything in our lives. So whenever I recommend a specific subliminal, if it resonates with you, you can click the link to it below in the pinned comment and the description box. And when you click this link, it will take you to a page on my site where you can just explore and learn more about all of the energetic benefits intended by that specific subliminal. And of course, as always, you can try out any subliminals I've created completely free for 7 days when you create a trial account on my site. So I've now pulled 5 cards here, and I love to just start with 6 cards when I do these readings. So let's see if we can get a 6th card to come out here. Okay. So deep grounding breath for all of you in this reading. If you feel guided, our breath is such a powerful grounding tool, and I feel that there's going to be some monumental kinds of messages coming through in this reading. So now that we've grounded ourselves, you can even pause the video if you need to ground yourself, need to take a deep breath and prepare yourself physically, energetically for these messages. The first card I pulled is indecision, and I have been feeling this energy coming through a lot, especially in the last week. I feel like many of you listening, and I'm getting chills just kind of confirming this to me. I feel many of you have been feeling as though you have to make some kind of a choice. I feel like whatever this choice is, it's caused a lot of you a lot of pain and confusion. I feel like the ego has been getting involved a lot in either attempting to make this decision or even in presenting the decision itself, because I feel for many of you, when you truly begin to feel into your heart space, into your soul space, into your intuition, this indecision may actually evaporate or resolve itself. But I feel that the ego is clouding many of you in some way and causing you to feel as though you have to move into some kind of a radical action space, which of course there are times to take radical action based on intuition in our lives. But in the case of many of you listening to this, I feel collectively, it's like the ego is either presenting some kind of a decision regarding our connection or our lives, or alternatively, there is truly a decision that we have to make, but our ego is trying to get over involved in making this decision. So I feel many of you need to be aware of this. And for some of you, this could be a very literal decision about moving a physical space, about staying with a certain person or leaving. But for some of you, this decision could actually be something taking place, not physically, but within your own mind, deciding to commit emotionally to something, that kind of a decision. So be aware of any kinds of decisions coming up right now. And Spirit is just really pushing you to especially be aware of the ways in which your ego is either presenting this decision or trying to get involved, over-involved in this decision. And I just saw someone kind of wearing a disguise, like a mask. I feel as though something isn't what it seems with this decision. There's some kind of element of illusion at play here. So I really hope that we will get more messages on that later in this reading. The second card I pulled for you is Man Holding a Coin in the reverse position. Because this card is reversed, I'm really seeing some kind of shift happening with the masculine collectively. For some of you, I'm actually seeing a masculine who is feeling out of his power, feeling disempowered in some way. I want to read a little bit about this card from the guidebook because I'm really curious about this energy. I do very strongly feel there is a disempowered masculine energy for many in the collective right now. I'm getting that very strongly. Let's read a little bit here. This card reversed reveals that you could be acting against your own best interests where money or health matters are concerned. You might be spending a bit too much or simply not be conscious enough about what's really important. Okay, it's that last line that really stood out for me. Not conscious of what's really important. I hate to be so direct, but for some of you, specifically for any of you listening who are a divine feminine, I feel that for many divine feminines listening, you may have a divine masculine counterpart who has a bit of a mix-up in priorities, who isn't. And I feel that so there are two messages coming through here. Again, this is a collective reading, so only take what resonates. I feel for some of you, there is a masculine who is simply disempowered, someone who is feeling and not feeling themselves, feeling out of their power in some way, either financially, materially, or within this connection, just somehow feeling like, I just saw someone like losing control of a car, almost feeling like they aren't in the driver's seat, almost feeling like they're losing control, and this is bringing up fear. For some others of you, I feel that your masculine could simply be not prioritizing from the soul right now, could be prioritizing from the ego, from a material perspective, over fixating on things that Spirit is saying just really don't matter in the grand scheme of things, but are mattering to this masculine because they're moving from this space of over-analyzation. They're over-analyzing through their ego some kind of situation. And it's causing them to become disempowered, overly fixated on some kind of material thing. For some of you, this masculine could seriously, literally be struggling in some financial way, either struggling to make, this could actually be the indecision card as well, struggling to make some kind of decision when it comes to career. Maybe it's a career move the masculine is considering. For others of you, this may actually be literally that the masculine is struggling financially, but I'm feeling for many of you, this is much more abstract. This is a mix-up of priorities coming from a space of ego. This is a disempowerment, a feeling as though they're losing control. And I feel that for many of you, this might be where part of the element of illusion is at play. Because I feel many divine feminines looking at the divine masculine's actions externally and not realizing that on the inside, they're feeling afraid, confused, disempowered. Because oftentimes when the masculine is wounded in that way, when a masculine feels disempowered, they tend to overcompensate for that in ways that may look aggressive, might be a strong word, but just controlling what we consider to be shows of masculinity. But these are truly coming from a space of being disempowered, feeling afraid. And I do feel for many of you, this is coming up for the masculine right now. The third card I have is Storm Warning in the reversed position. So for some of you, I'm actually directly hearing that there was some recent situation of, I'm seeing just a place that a tornado, of course a metaphorical tornado, has just come through and destroyed. It's like I specifically saw like a neighborhood. So some of you actually may feel as though you're like a home wrecker, you're wrecking their home or wrecking your own home. Again, that won't be everyone, but some of you may be dealing with some kind of a third party situation where it feels like you're kind of either destroying their family situation or your family situation is being destroyed, or there's some kind of home wrecker energy. That will not be everyone. That actually might just be one person, but that kind of came through. But for others of you, I simply feel as though you're kind of you feel like you're kind of in the wreckage right now, trying to rebuild something that has recently crumbled, been destroyed, or drastically changed in some way that would be perceived to be negative from an ego perspective. I feel that many of us collectively have come out recently from a situation of chaos of some sort. I feel like for many of you, there was some recent metaphorical storm, either an argument with your person, some kind of fiery, intense situation, some kind of upheaval. I feel like something happened in the recent past that left this kind of wreckage in its wake, of course, metaphorically speaking. And I do feel I feel this will come up later again in the reading, but already a kind of preliminary energy I'm feeling from that wreckage is rebuilding, that kind of phoenix rising from the ashes kind of energy. And I feel many of you are sensing that as well, that this wreckage had to happen, that this event had to occur in order to level the ground, in order to give you space to rebuild. I'm getting that energy very strongly for many of you. The next card I pulled is Contract in the upright position. It's interesting that this card came out because, by the way, this card is the number 6 in the deck. And I just wanted to say that because I feel recently, in addition to 9s and the number 911, I feel like some of you have been seeing the number 666 recently, which is ironic because that's another number that comes up that we often perceive to be, from an ego perspective, negative. 666 sometimes was called, out of fear, the devil's number, kind of given these labels. But these are just labels coming from a space of fear. Really, this repeating number isn't any kind of an indication of evil or something even negative. It simply, once again, means that we need to pay attention to something. I feel many of you have been seeing repeating numbers like 666, like 911, that are actually meant to draw attention, that are meant to call your attention to something in your environment, either your emotional environment, meaning how you're feeling in the moment, your thought environment, some thought that's coming up, or literally a situation in your physical, external environment. And the purpose of calling attention to this is simply to cause you to question either the thought pattern that's coming up, the emotion that's coming up, to kind of feel into it, or the situation that's arising, and to begin to get curious about it, to ask questions, especially if this is a perceived negative thought, negative emotion, or negative situation, to really ask yourself, why am I being triggered in this way? Why is this emerging at this time? But just circling back to now that I've kind of gotten on that tangent that I feel was a necessary tangent, because I do feel many of you have been seeing these numbers and needed an explanation. But just coming back to the card itself, this card is the contract card. And I said it was interesting this came up both because of the number 6, but also because I actually pulled a few cards just for myself and just kind of to get a sense of individually and collectively what was going on a few days ago. And this card actually came up then as well. So this card, I feel, indicates some kind of either a karmic pattern or a karmic contract coming up to be fulfilled, or being in the process of being fulfilled. So what do I mean by this? Of course, this is a collective reading, so this will look different depending on your current situation individually. But for some of you, I literally feel as though there is some kind of person that came back into your life or into your mind. This could be some kind of a love connection from your past. This could be not even a romantic connection at all, but a family connection, a friendship. There is some kind of karmic connection that came back into your life and caused you to relive some kind of karmic pattern for the purpose of healing it. Now, if this hasn't happened, I feel this indicates a near future energy. I feel like this could be happening to you in the near future, that someone or something could be coming back into your life, triggering some kind of wound or some kind of pattern for the purpose of healing it, because that is the purpose of these karmic connections. Whenever we we experience or encounter a karmic connection, either platonically or romantically, we are actually encountering a pattern, a wound, a negative pattern in need of being transmuted, in need of being healed. In relationships, romantically speaking, this is the whole basis for attraction to karmic partners. Whenever we or our divine counterpart is attracted to a karmic connection, they aren't truly, or we aren't truly attracted to this person per se, but we're actually attracted to a pattern. And specifically, we're attracted to the ways in which this person or this connection allows us to continue playing out our comfortable, old, and wounded patterns, our negative patterns, until we decide to change these patterns, to heal these patterns. And once we do heal in this way, our attraction to karmic partners dissolves. Because again, we weren't ever truly attracted to that person's soul, to them on a soul level. We were again attracted to the patterns. So as we shift and heal and transform within, all of those patterns dissolve. And if you are struggling, or your twin flame is struggling with some kind of a karmic pattern, some kind of a karmic connection, or just a thought pattern or wound that seems to be emerging at this time, I would highly recommend my 7 chakra twin flame clearing subliminal. Now, this may seem kind of counterintuitive because we tend to externalize these karmic patterns and connections, to look at them from the outside. But the truth is, the key to dissolving, to easily, effortlessly resolving any karmic patterns, either within our own mind, within our connections, or within our twin flames, third-party connections. The key to shifting and healing all of this is simply to shifting and healing the energy within. And once we fully heal ourselves, move ourselves back into that most aligned, soulful, high vibrational state, all of these karmic patterns will dissolve completely effortlessly. So this subliminal, this 7 chakra clearing, is designed to do just that, to recalibrate you to that natural state of being, to literally retune your chakras to their highest vibrational state, to their natural state, all while programming extremely magnetic affirmations directly into your energy, into your subconscious mind. So to learn more about that subliminal, the link to it will be in the pinned comment and description box. The next card, I'm just kind of smiling because this is one of the most beautiful cards in this deck. This is the 4th chakra card. Of course, the 4th chakra is the heart chakra, and I see very clearly a connection. This card is kind of the overarching card of this reading so far, because it's telling us, Spirit is reminding us here, to lean in to our heart chakra energy, to allow our heart chakra to open and that heart energy to overflow, to fill every cell in our being, to radiate outward. Because although twin flames do connect energetically through all 7 chakras, they connect most dominantly through the heart chakra. In fact, all of our telepathic communication happens not through the mind, through the head, but through the heart center. This is also why twin flames are often depicted with a silver cord connecting them at the heart, at the chest center where the heart chakra is located. This also means that when we activate our heart chakra, when we clear blocks in our heart chakra, we deeply magnetically connect ourselves back instantaneously to our twin flames energy, wherever they are in the world. Even if we haven't met them, anytime we tune back into our heart chakra frequency, we instantly connect ourselves to the energy of our twin flame wherever they are in the universe. It's such a beautiful thing, knowing that when we connect with our own heart and soul, we actually are simultaneously connecting with our divine counterpart. I know that I just recommended the 7 chakra clearing, but just because this card is coming up, I really do also strongly recommend my twin flame heart chakra activation subliminal. Specifically, I recommend this if you have been feeling like there's been some situation of chaos, uncertainty, or indecision, because Spirit is guiding me here to tell you that when you activate your heart chakra, when you radiate that magnetic love energy toward your twin flame, move back into your heart space, clear out any blocks in the heart center. As you do this heart chakra clearing work, what happens is you actually clear all of that wreckage that may have been caused by whatever difficult situation or storm, that metaphorical storm that could have happened. You clear the space. You're able to rebuild from a heart-centered space. And also that situation of either disempowerment for the masculine or indecision that may be coming up that we discussed earlier. I'm hearing that this situation, whatever that is for you individually, will resolve itself completely, will just simply evaporate or dissolve or be moved or shifted when you open your heart chakra, when you radiate that love energy, return to that space of pure divine love. So that twin flame heart chakra activation will be linked also in the pinned comment and description box. I sometimes use this even in the moment. I will put on this specific subliminal when I'm feeling a situation of miscommunication or disharmony between myself and my twin flame. And the amazing thing I've experienced with this subliminal is sometimes I'll be listening to it, and even though I'm in union with my twin flame, he will literally text me from wherever he is, if he's at work or whatever, or he will call me right as I'm listening to this subliminal. It's so interesting. It's like as I connect with my heart space, he feels that heart connection that I'm making to myself and then reaches out. So I really do recommend this, especially if you're having issues with communication, because again, all telepathic communication with our twin flame does happen through the heart space, through the heart chakra. So this kind of activation is really powerful for literally manifesting, magnetizing communication from our twin flame. And the final card I pulled in this initial spread is the Sun card in the reverse position. And I just very clearly heard our future feels uncertain. I feel like someone in this connection is feeling either overwhelmed or deeply afraid. I feel very intense, like foundation shaking energy here. This kind of root chakra deep energy. I feel that someone is feeling just deeply insecure about the future of this connection, wanting to have that moment in the sun with their person in this kind of metaphorical sense, but feeling as though it's always out of reach. There's something about reaching here, either the future of this connection feeling out of reach, or someone feeling as though they keep reaching out and grasping nothing, feeling like there is so much power, so much depth, so much going on energetically, and yet materially it feels as though something isn't coming together or can't come together or can't manifest. And this is causing someone to feel just shaken to their core, feel as though their whole foundation is crumbling. By the way, if this is you, I do sense a deep foundational wound. I sense specifically unbalanced root chakra energy. And I actually did an entire podcast just a few weeks ago on the root chakra and the importance of strengthening our root chakra, those lower chakra energies. But also, if this connects with you and you're experiencing this kind of foundation deep wound within your connection that is causing you to feel shaken to your core, to feel uncertain, to feel deeply insecure, I really do recommend my root chakra subliminal. This is an activation for the root chakra energy, just to really deeply strengthen that core level energy foundation within you, which if you are having these insecurity issues, really will cause a powerful shift within your connection. So I will also leave that root chakra activation subliminal linked in the pinned comment and description box. Okay, so now let's see what card was kind of mixed in with my deck there from the Ask Angels deck. Wow, guys. Okay, this card is trust. And I just got a wave of goosebumps as I flipped over this card because I feel Spirit is saying, yes, all of this is going on. There may be an element of indecision coming from a space of ego. There may be a disempowered masculine that may be acting out in certain ways because they feel afraid or disempowered. There may have been this kind of stormy, difficult situation you're coming out of. Perhaps even a karmic contract in the form of a person or a thought pattern. But at the same time, this overarching theme is trust. And I just heard let go and trust. Specifically with this sun in the reverse position, let go, I'm hearing, of expectations of what the future holds with this person. I feel like many in the collective are grasping at this very clear material vision, wanting to clearly be able to see how everything is going to come together, what it's going to look like, when it's going to happen. And it's kind of funny, I saw that kind of play out because the Ask Angels deck actually has a lot of time frame cards, like in the next few months, next year, etc. And I thought in my own mind, I hope that this card is a time frame card. But now I'm realizing that was me actually reading into the collective, into this desire to have a time frame, to know when it's going to happen exactly, to get an exact day, to know, okay, in the next few months he's going to reach out, or in the next year, or it's going to happen soon, or to just get some kind of literal confirmation. But it's ironic that the card wasn't a time frame card. It was simply trust, meaning just trust that everything is coming together in perfect time. Perfect, meaning according to the intentions you set and your twin flame set along with you on a soul level prior to even incarnating in this lifetime. So many beautiful messages that came through. Wow, guys. Okay, so now I am just going to get some clarification cards, and I'm actually feeling guided to pull a few more cards from this Energy Oracle cards deck because I feel that there may be more messages here for all of us. So Spirit, what else does the Twin Flame Collective need to know at this time? By the way, I'm feeling just a little bit dizzy or lightheaded, so I feel this could kind of be indicating that someone is feeling a bit overwhelmed by something happening within this connection. I feel like something has left someone feeling as though they're reeling, left this kind of air of confusion or uncertainty, like someone is feeling like they aren't grounded. That's really what I'm hearing. This could go back to not having that root chakra foundation. So I am hearing, really for some of you, you may be really guided to do some deeper level root chakra work just to ground yourself. So of course, this could be meditating with a root chakra activation subliminal like the one I've linked below. This could also mean focusing on properly nourishing, fueling your body, even moving your body, doing a yoga sequence, stretching, feeling back into your body in order to ground yourself, to kind of ease this feeling of overwhelmment or confusion. Okay, so I pulled one card and I'm trying to pull out more cards here, but the cards are feeling oddly kind of stuck right now. Maybe we're just supposed to get this one card for now. Okay, so this card was adjacent possibilities in the upright position. I just heard keep an open mind. Leave yourself open to the ways in which this connection may unfold in the coming days or weeks, in ways in which you may have not expected. I just hear this trust and adjacent possibilities card kind of coming together here in tandem with one another. I feel like the thing you have to trust is that the possibilities, the doors will open for you. This card actually depicts illustrations of open doors. And I feel for many of you, a door is going to open, but it's not going to be the door that you expected to open. So of course, this could differ from person to person because this is a collective general reading. But I feel for some of you, it could be something as simple as you desperately want this person to text you, but you may actually end up running into them at the supermarket. And of course, that's just one very random small example, but you could apply this to anything. I feel like you could be expecting someone to come forward, your counterpart to come forward in a very specific kind of way, but actually the way in which they could come forward would be very different. But I'm also hearing the important message of remaining open, because in order to receive this possibility, in order to walk through this open door, you have to keep your eyes and your mind open, meaning you can't be fixating so much on the closed door that you perceive to be the one that needs to open, that you miss a door beside it that could be opening, that could actually be better for you. I'm hearing that message come through very strongly for someone. So I'm going to see if we can get some more clarification on this adjacent possibilities card. And I'm actually feeling kind of guided to the Angel Answers deck. So give me just one moment and let me grab that deck. Okay, so I am now going to pull some clarification from the Angel Answers deck. So Spirit, what else can you tell us about the adjacent possibilities in the Twin Flame Collective right now? What are the adjacent possibilities? Okay, I just pulled one card. Let's see if we can get any others here. Okay, 2 cards. And 3 cards. Let's see what we have here. Wow, okay, within the next few weeks. So what I'm hearing is, quite literally in the next couple weeks, specifically I'm hearing end of April through mid-May. For some reason, I'm very specifically hearing through May 15th. There's going to be some kind of opportunity presented to you or some kind of door opening. Now, I have to tell you, for some of you, this might not be any kind of drastic or major shift. I just heard it's more significant than you realize. So I feel like this is going to be something. Keep your eyes open, guys. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps to confirm this. You need to hear this. I feel like everyone in the Twin Flame Collective actually needs to hear this, because I feel something is going to occur within the next few weeks, specifically the cutoff date being May 15th, that is going to seem small, but actually be very significant. So keep your eyes open for anything that seems insignificant to you, but somehow just catches your attention, because I feel this thing could be an opportunity that is bigger or more important than you realize. The second card is If You Believe. I feel like when this opportunity presents itself, some of you either may be thinking, there may be some ego stepping in when this thing happens or occurs that's either telling you, oh, that's really not significant, it doesn't matter, or saying, oh, that's not that big of a deal, or saying, oh, I'm overthinking it. I'm specifically hearing for some of you that this is going to be a specific message, but for some of you, this may be your person stepping forward in some way. Like, for example, you could have a really powerful dream about this person. You could receive a text from them. They could communicate with you in some way. You could run into them somewhere. And I feel like, again, it's going to be something like that just seems very small. But Spirit is telling you it's not small. It's actually a great indication. I just saw like a small sprout of a plant above the surface of the earth, but beneath the surface there are all of these like intertwined, this huge system of roots. And I feel like Spirit is telling you, you have no idea how great or significant this seemingly small event is beneath the surface, like if only you could see. But it's very important that you don't let your ego get in the way and overanalyze this, because I feel whenever this thing happens, your ego may step in and say, oh, you're just delusional, you're overthinking it, it's just a coincidence, something like that. And you're being asked to gently release your ego's analysis of this situation or opportunity or thing when it happens. And the next card is Take Action. So when this thing happens, I'm hearing you're going to know because you're hearing it now, and to seize the opportunity, because again, this could be something small, like your person texting you. Take the opportunity to engage with them in conversation if they reach out. If you run into them, take the opportunity to approach them, to say something to them. If you have a dream about them, maybe maybe in this dream you receive some kind of sign about how you should move forward with this person. Take that sign, take action on that sign. I feel like you're going to be guided very clearly into some kind of action space. And again, for some of you, even this action could seem small, could seem insignificant, but it's actually very important that you do whatever you feel guided to do when this small or seemingly small opportunity presents itself. So now I'm going to be rolling the letter initial dice. Sometimes these letter initials will present first, middle, or last name initials for either you listening or for your twin flame counterpart. But remember that these are hyper-specific messages within a very generalized reading, so only take what resonates with you. Also, sometimes these aren't names, but will actually spell certain words that simply apply to this reading. Okay, so Spirit, what is the first, middle, or last name of either the person listening to this reading or their twin flame counterpart? Or alternatively, can you give us some words that may apply to this reading? U, Q, V, X, S, O, S, U, K-A, B-K. For some reason I heard back, like someone wants you back, or like someone wants to go back. So I'm hearing specifically someone's person may be replaying some kind of scenario or interaction they have with you and wish they had like a do-over button for it because they're regretting something they said or didn't say in that interaction or some way that they came across. For others of you, I'm simply hearing that your person wants you back in some way, like they feel like they've either emotionally or physically lost you, and I'm specifically hearing a divine masculine come through here that wants a divine feminine back, either emotionally or literally physically in their presence wants them back. So take that as it resonates. Okay, now the final thing I'm going to do is actually pull some potential messages. Many of you who watch my readings know that these cards contain phrases or sentences, or even sometimes just words that may apply in some way to the twin flame collective energy right now. Okay, so Spirit, what else does the twin flame collective need to know at this time? I've been wishing, wow, this really directly connects to that backward, someone wanting to go back or wanting someone back. I'm feeling this kind of wistful, longing energy coming from someone's counterpart, either replaying and having regrets about something that they said or didn't say. I'm getting that very strongly. Or otherwise, simply wishing that things could be different. I do feel this actually could be coming from the disempowered masculine I was channeling earlier, a masculine who's somehow feeling like he's lost control of either himself or this situation. If you only knew, this really connects to the last message. If you only knew how much I've been wishing that things were different, or wishing for you, or wishing that I could go back. I'm stuck in my head. Well, that one's pretty self-explanatory. That really circles back to the ego. I actually feel, because before I actually felt that if only you knew how I've been wishing, I feel strongly that for many of you that's coming from a masculine, but now that I'm stuck in my head, I'm actually feeling coming from a divine feminine who feels in this space of indecision and feels like she is kind of circling back and forth around these kinds of thoughts, confusion, uncertainty, because of feeling indecisive about something, but from a space of ego in some way. There's kind of this over-analysis going on, I feel, from the divine feminine perspective. You promised. I actually also feel this coming from the divine feminine. I feel like there's a divine feminine who feels betrayed. Wow, I felt that. I just felt a wave of energy, kind of like a breaking through my heart chakra, and I specifically feel a sense of betrayal from a divine feminine who feels like the divine masculine isn't stepping up or isn't keeping his promises in some way. I feel like there's some kind of hurt here. This may have even been the catalyst for whatever storm I sensed that had just occurred, this kind of metaphorical, intense situation that may have just happened. I feel a hurt divine feminine who feels as though the divine masculine is not keeping some kind of promise or has betrayed her in some way. And I actually feel that beneath the surface, the divine masculine is aware that he has betrayed or hurt the divine feminine in some way. And yet he feels as though, and again, this all could just be for one person. It's just something I'm getting strongly and feel I need to share. So this won't resonate with all of you. But I do feel like this divine masculine hasn't kept this promise or has done this perceived betrayal simply because he's felt out of control or felt disempowered in some way. And I feel like he wishes he could respond to the divine feminine's betrayal by saying, if only, what I just pulled before, if only you knew how much I've been wishing, how much I've been playing it back, how much I've been wishing that things were different or that I had been different. I do feel a lot of regret and hurt kind of going back and forth here. Okay, Spirit, are there any more messages for the Twin Flame Collective here? I wish I could. Okay, this is kind of strange, but I've never done this before, but I'm feeling this conversation go back and forth. Like now the divine masculine is coming back. The divine feminine said, you promised. She's feeling hurt, feeling betrayed. And the divine masculine is coming back saying, I wish I could. I wish I could make things right. Wow, I'm just getting so many goosebumps here. What if? I feel like this what if is the final message I'm supposed to pull here. And this is actually an overarching message. And I feel like this what if is actually coming from Spirit, kind of stepping into this conversation and saying, what if everything is actually unfolding in perfect time? What if you simply trust, as we said earlier, that possibilities are opening, that doors are opening? What if this whole interaction, conversation, situation we just laid out here, these feelings of hurt, betrayal, regret, are actually occurring for the purpose of being transformed, of being healed? What if this mess, this storm, this chaos, this wreckage is actually upheaval for the purpose of the deepest level soul healing that you've ever experienced? What a beautiful place to leave those messages. And I actually also feel guided to pull these cards that may have some words that apply to our reading here. So Spirit, what else does the person listening to this reading need to hear from their twin flame counterpart right now? Logical. I specifically hear from this card, overly logical, like someone's logic is getting out of control. I feel like the divine masculine here, for some of you, there's a divine masculine who logically can't see a way forward, who wishes that they could step forward or move forward in some way, but they're somehow, again, stuck in their head, stuck in their logic, unable to see a path forward because the ego has kind of, I just see someone, okay, this is kind of a weird specific metaphor, but I feel that a divine masculine felt himself being opened up, being kind of broken open in some way, being transformed. But then suddenly he felt as though he was losing control of himself or the situation, or things were happening too fast. It's like he lost control of his metaphorical car, and then the ego stepped in and said, I'm going to drive now. And I feel like the ego kind of took control out of this feeling of necessity because he felt disempowered or overwhelmed by all of the change happening within him. And so he let the ego take control, but now the ego is in the driver's seat, and the ego has kind of shoved all of the soul self, the intuitive self, to the back seat. So now it's like, I feel a divine masculine has had to take control with ego in order to, in his own mind, survive. But now he wants to come forward, but he can't get out of that ego space, out of that logical mindset, in order to step forward in the ways that the divine feminine is demanding, desiring, and deserving right now. So Spirit, what else does the Twin Flame Collective need to hear at this time? Air sign, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. So this could be you or your twin flame sign, sun, moon, or rising. familiar. I feel like this familiar is actually referring back to the contract card. I feel like if there's a karmic pattern in the form of a person or a negative thought pattern, I feel like it's a familiar pattern or a familiar person. So that karmic or that contract card we were discussing earlier, I'm sensing this actually could be an ex or an ex-lover or someone you had a fling with coming back into your life or your twin flame's life. Some kind of karmic connection that is familiar, or if it's not a person, it could actually be a familiar pattern. So it may feel as though you and your counterpart are kind of circling around the same sorts of familiar but negative patterns. But I do feel that although this pattern or person is familiar, this time is different, because this time you are ready to heal this thing. You are ready to transcend this thing and move past whatever karmic situation, again, whether that's in the form of a person or simply a karmic thought pattern. I do feel you are ready at this time, or your twin flame is ready to actually transcend, to heal, to dissolve this situation. Okay, guys, so I feel like this is a very settled place to leave this reading. I hope that you received whatever kind of message or guidance you needed to receive at this time. If any of the subliminals I recommended throughout this reading did resonate with you, or you'd like to learn more about them, you can do so by clicking the link in the pinned comment or the description box. When you sign up for a 7-day free trial account on my website, you can trial any of these subliminals completely free, or you can even explore any of the more than 100 subliminals I've created for all areas of life. Thank you so much for sharing this time and space with me here, for being part of this beautiful, soulful community we're building together here through this channel, through this platform. I always say this, but I always feel the need to reiterate how much gratitude I have for each of you, not just in listening, but in actually co-creating all of this information, all of these readings, all of this material. If I did resonate with you, please do subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, magnificent rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again in the next reading.